It is a beautiful night. Y'all agree? You know what I'm saying? Like this night is so beautiful. I want to talk to it. Like I want to ask it questions. Like I wonder what night thinks of day. I wonder how God decided which one he gave his son to. And why we call one unholy as though the moon ever burned anybody. I wonder who decided that a black sky was the time you should close your eyes. Like you ain't need to see this. Like we really send our kids to bed early as though day ain't the one carrying all that morning. Colonized a world it watched turn over in 24 hours, only leaving 8, decided this month, where we celebrate love and black be the one that close early. Will blind you if you ever look close enough to see the night behind everything it does. Lied to you over and over and over again and told you that the stars were in the wrong place. I wonder who said close your eyes. Because the only God I ever served said, let there be light. And all I heard was that dark was already present and already gift. And cursed be whoever told you that a holy night be a silent one, because night is always a party. It is loud and as joyous as the heavens it sits under, because black is so beautiful, God put it inside your eyelids. Imagine how much he loved you if he put it in your skin too. We can start the set now. Y'all cool? Yeah. If you wonder why I got a little extra lean, I'm sober, but my Achilles is torn. Yeah. I got that Kobe Bryant, Kevin Durant, Tyrese Halliburton type of injury, but with way less money and way less people crying about it. And nobody's parlay was on it. So they kind of just let you lay there for a little while. So if you see a little in the step, don't laugh. I'm sensitive. I'm light-skinned. Self-explanatory. And come on. And I actually had to spend like a good amount of money on like boots and surgeries, and nobody tells you that like the pillows you got in your house are bad for your knees if you stack them. So you got to buy this special one that's slant like a really pretty girl forehead, and it's just like ridiculous. Nobody tells you you're supposed to get like this plastic cover that go over your legs so you don't get your calves wet. And there's just a whole bunch of no one tells you that nothing on earth is more expensive than being unhealthy and poor at the same time. So just know that health is wealth and wealth is wealth too, and capitalism a hoe for that. That ain't even a poem. I'm just angry. Damn you. So much so that like I couldn't even afford to bring all my poems here. I had to get a tip. This is a DEI hire. Hold on. For real, this joint got this. It's written in night mode too. So technically it's just here because it's black, or at least that's what they be saying. I'll see if it's qualified though. Like this poem is a DEI hire and its ethnicity is listed as real nigga. That is NIGGA out of ATLGA, where anyone who wants to use an ER get put in one. This poem is a DEI hire, and its gender is really not your business. If you're wondering whether it has a dick or a pussy, then suck it. This poem is a DEI hire. Shorty got one good foot. The other is stuck so far up Elon Musk's ass, it is sticking out of Donald Trump's mouth. This poem is a DEI hire, and it's old. It's so old the paper it was written on still smells like the bodies hung from the tree it used to be. It's been folded in a paper airplane and thrown between Tuskegee, Alabama and Berlin, Germany, and cannot remember where it saw more Nazis. Its poem is a DEI hire, and it's so old when it was written, it was still illegal to teach me to read it. Now, it's just a little dyslexic. It always seems to read how you want it to DIE. It's got autism too. It's been obsessively searching for the meaning within itself and found the DEI in Latin means God. So if a motherfucker tell you they hate DEI, then you know who you're dealing with. This poem can no longer work at Target, but it's still being targeted because the ink it was written on still get black as the target. Its community is underserved, but over-policed At work, it's overqualified, but still underpaid. It's been doing overtime for the understaffed and is over having to understand its entire life is somebody else's parlay. This poem is just sick having half the chance of being hired as a white man with half the resume. This poem just wants the ladder of success to also have a ramp. Wants the American dream to be translated to Braille, something you can touch and know what it means. This poem is a DEI hire. That means its father immigrated to America seeking refuge from the type of country America is turning into. It's poured into a nation so cold, all it gave back was ice, and its mother's degree still too wage gap to keep the heat on. Its grandfather has fought in war after war in the name of freedom and is still waiting on the freedom to come. Its grandmama has raised 10 kids, and none of them got her name or her skin or her face. Now this poem comes to work with a smile as warm as a burning rosewood, knowing that it has to carry both its rage and your guilt. It is wide enough to fit an entire transatlantic middle passage on this poem. This poem is not the reason. This poem knows that DEI is not the reason it was hired. It's the reason you read the fucking applications. But you still interviewed that white woman who did not send one. Now, when it gets hired, it knows the DEI means it will do everything in spaces that don't ever include it. While Donald's evil institutions destroy Earth's infrastructure, and I've always wondered why the most privileged men on Earth are so hell-bent on an apocalypse, I found out that they're the only people who have less rights now than they did in 1776. You see, they've always had the right to themselves. They just really miss having a right to you, too. If you can hear the sound of my voice, I haven't been shot yet. That is both beautiful, and it means my poems are not nearly radical enough. So congratulate me, and then hold me accountable. Let's continue. All right. I talk about personal shit a lot, because growing up, I ain't hear enough niggas do that. So I ain't know if niggas got to be persons or if there was anybody who knew how. I talk about historical shit a lot, because my school ain't really do that. Maybe it was the lack of funding, or maybe the funding was funding that. And like, I be hearing a lot that history don't really repeat itself, but it rhyme. That must mean it is the worst poet I know. And I think we can rewrite some of this shit, like for real, honestly. I think the best way to have a conversation for me is to write a poem, because to be honest, I got a touch of autism. And metaphors make things make more sense to me. And when you study history, you find just how nonsensical some of the shit is. Like, science fiction has nothing on the imagination of just bored billionaires. Like, these niggas actually want to live on space. No. Someone with a mansion wants to live on space. Someone with an island wants to live on space with nothing. Wait until they find out you can't golf up there, nigga, gravity. And it leads me to question everything I've ever known. Like growing up, I was told like the epitome of all that was civil rights was Dr. King, and in ways it was. But it never should have been taught like it stopped there. Like, so many other people were parts of things. I'm talking about the Angela Davises, the Stokely Carmichaels, the James Baldwins, the Fred Hamptons, and there were so many different paths. And I had to answer for myself, why is a person in the United States murdered its favorite person to voice? And like, I started to think maybe I wish I could just like go back in time and either ask them or change some shit. Like when freedom is questioned, I don't really know if violence is the answer, but it is American. I mean, so American, even the flag got blood trails and exit wounds. Now, the National Rifle Association say the only way you can stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. But America will see more mass shootings in 1 year than days on a calendar, so I took one. I built a time machine. I imagine the world we'd see if the right people just got it in the scope. Imagine if when the KKK come to silence us, they saw big AKs with silencers. Imagine if ICE picked the wrong block and I pulled out the stick. Imagine a crowd this size was strapped, but like waiting where they shot Malcolm at, and Martin, and Fred, and the martyrs instead got to live for their causes, and we got led instead of led. After all, history is illustrated by who's quickest on the draw, so time. Instead of Columbine, Columbus, getting ran down with a large Glock. I put a red dot to a pale face, and it looked like I gave him smallpox. Time, instead of Slandy Hook, how about a slave ship with Jesus written in chalk on it? How about I sink it in the water, then tell the captain to walk on it? Time, it's 1955. You see me guarding Emmett Till with a pistol. I'm waiting by the door, hitting everybody to get through. I blow a hole so big, get close, you can hear it whistle. Time to get Trayvon 218. I should slide the bro at 36. I say if Zimmerman tries staying his ground, we putting that nigga under it. Now the system's broken, and I can't tell if we ever left the past. I go back to that damn calendar, and every year there's another march. And every day there's another morning. It's taking my father's time, my mother's time, my sisters, nieces, and nephews' time. How much time do they want for their progress? Even the revolution wasn't televised, but it still got shot with psyops scripted in Quintel prose to say if you outlaw guns, only outlaws will have them. What the fuck that even mean if the law's what's out to get you? No one protects you and hate come and air out the room. Your mama scared since carrying her air out the womb. Father crying because they carrying his air out the room. Can't breathe like somebody took the air out the room. I bet it's easy to advocate the right to bear arms if your arms never bear the weight of Paul bearing. Now Tracy is my time machine. He asked me why I built it like this, and it reminds me, every time whiteness begets violence, all they get is a slap on the wrist. So this time, Dylan better not say a fucking thing, or I'm gonna let the force spray. And if he asks me for Burger King, I say have it your way. Tom, if Charlie won't debate my life, I'm probably gonna shoot up the joint. And if he start talking empty shit, we just gonna both have hollow points. And Tom, I heard Audre Lorde say, you cannot dismantle the master's house using his tools. And as much as I appreciate her, maybe she should have tried the hammer. Because Tom, I catch Elon on Wall Street. I've been creeping on him close up. Shoot till everything black. I turn Tesla into Tulsa. Got a burner like it's Rosewood. You know what I'm going to do with that? Bring the smoke to Israel. Turn AIPAC into a pack. We bring the smoke to Israel. Turn AIPAC into a pack. Then dump the ashes on Trump. Now my president is black. But when it was, the gun still pointed at Gaza. And the bullets still chase blackness more often than sunrise. The babies still left school with as many holes as the history books because America so damn violent that gun control is just who gets to aim it, and a mass shooting is just a genocide in practice mode. And them guns don't kill people. Governments do. They keep them guns legal because you can't reload a noose. Now, if America can't stand withholding guns, I think in time it'll fall withholding bullets from people so sore from carrying these caskets that we can't put our hands up no more. And I got just enough time left to look towards the future. And I may not live there, but I see a good world for my kids. I think I just had to put it in the scope. I talk about the future a lot because the past has taken enough from me. I think the past has taken enough from us. I say poems that I've written for the people that relate to them, hoping that when I'm in a room, absolutely no one relates to them. I come from a place where maturity is both a luxury and a necessity at the same time. It seems every day I'm reminded sometimes when you're born like this in America, you be custom fitted for your own prison. There are more ways for you to die than to make a living. So as you can imagine, a kid who grew up on the east side of Atlanta got to think anyone who got to see 21 just had to be a savage. So me, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 friends from my neighborhood I'm not going to see no more. Their names are Bryce, Lamar, Andre, Calvin, Kyle, Brandon, Omar, and Yasin. Grew up in the same complex in East Atlanta. Not quite city as Philly or country as Alabama. We knew our parents didn't understand us, and it was crazy. It was crazy because one day we all got robbed on our way home from practice. What made that shit crazy was none of us even had shit. Mama tried to say these things happen, but of course boys don't listen. So by the end of the week, 3 of my friends, they all started cripping. I thought it was fear that made them link. Maybe they saw strength in the numbers. Maybe they could work. Maybe they said, no, maybe Dre said, if this world ain't never gonna look out for brothers, at least we could be there for each other. Then they ran up on some OG blood in the club over bullshit that he said. And by the next week, 3 of my homies all got 1 to the head, and I had 5. Friends from my neighborhood that I am not gonna see no more. See, they gave their lives for a set. My homie Calvin, he was different. He had a good head on his shoulders. We knew that gang stuff just couldn't get him. See, every family photo exactly the same. Calvin center, his dad left and mom right. He had a scholarship to Providence and the prettiest date on prom night. But Calvin happened to be the wrong color in the wrong place by the wrong night. He gets pulled over in his uncle's whip. I hear whispers of, I think the kid stole this shit. Then they step out of the car. Then it's, but it's my uncle's. Then it shut up, Nick, I mean boy. I'm not listening to some punk who's probably high off his ass, possibly even drunk too. There's a struggle and no one knows what conclusion to come to because an officer's body cam malfunctioned. And now I have 4 friends from my neighborhood that I'm just not gonna see no more. See, Calvin was tame, but my homie Kyle was wild. I mean, smooth with the ladies. Like, my boy had the juice. Our whole school wanted to date him. When Kyle had money problems, Brandon said he could solve them. Kyle's girlfriend got pregnant. Brandon made him an offer. It was work, selling narcotics. It's cool. So Kyle followed Brandon back to Kyle's apartment. Followed him back to Brandon's apartment. Brandon thought Kyle snitched. He pulls out a Mac and he shot him. Brandon couldn't say shit. Said, nigga, I had a daughter. Now Brandon's facing charges. And Brandon's facing a court date. And Brandon gets choked out in a jail cell because Kyle's father knew his cellmate. I just know that now I had 2 friends from that one neighborhood that we just not gonna see no more. See, Omar took Kyle's death in just the worst way because Omar had dreams about Kyle since we was in 3rd grade and he thought it was low, but we knew. And senior year, he decided it was time that everyone else knew it too. See, he had been dating Drew. He was in love. He didn't want to keep it silent. He told everybody at lunch. But Drew ran away and denied it. He was beside himself because that turncoat told him he was ready to come out the closet. And for the next few years, he was locked away. He was crying because his phone was blown up with the jokes and the threats of violence. And every time he was alone, he screamed till his voice was tired. And every time he was alone, his ears, they ring like sirens, but he was always alone. So he just wanted to make the noise stop. He went over to his dad's drawer. He looked inside it. He moved some shit around and he found Dad's 35 and he put it next to his mind and then everything just went silent. But we had one, though. And that one Yasin used to pray for all of us just about every day. We called him God. He called him Allah. Maybe the difference was just semantics anyway, because Yasin was nothing but a man of faith until his faith had a cost, because one night after a Trump rally, somebody got drunk and crashed outside a mosque, and I'm your last black boy from the neighborhood. I feel like all of us owe a story or 2 get told. You see, black boys have this strange problem growing up because black boys have this really strange problem growing old. And that's for every Bryce B, Lamar L, Andre A, Calvin C, Kyle K, Brandon B, Omar O, and Yasin Y. Like, why every black boy you know got a few friends, he just not gonna see no more. And in my history studies, I used to look for motivation about that. Or maybe explanation. Or some sign that it was gonna stop. Like, life can't actually have to be as hard as it is. And I found this one speech by Dr. King, and I thought that leaving my story out wouldn't make much sense. So when I read, I found that Dr. King once said that if it falls your lot in life to be a street sweeper, you go forth and sweep streets like Michelangelo painted pictures. Like Beethoven composed music and like Shakespeare wrote poetry. You go be the best at whatever you are. You learn to take pride in your work because depression comes when there ain't no pride left to take. You see, 28 years ago, it fell my lot to start falling. 8 years ago, it fell my lot to be a dropout. And 7 years ago, it fell my lot to be homeless, which is to say, I felt a lot. Until it fell my lot to be a poet. I slammed for food money, sometimes in packed venues, but most times in packed train cars. All times in ugly mirrors, just trying to see myself be good at something. I fell in love with my train car stage, and some days I wanted to stand on that track and give it a kiss. I performed in only the most gentrified areas to avoid anyone I knew, places where everybody favorite poems, just that one about black kids dying, and I thought of King and how much they love the revolution after it has already passed away. I painted strange fruit, knowing that was the only reason they had feed the starving artists. I turned my notebook pages back into the trees we hung from, hoping that the firewood just keep me warm at night. A white woman hands me $1. She turns to her daughter and tells her I am the most talented bum she's ever seen. And I'm wondering how pretty I must have made our death sound. Wondering if plucking bodies from pavement to make my meals make me a street sweeper or some kind of vulture. And Two guys took a knife, pulled a knife on me in the subway. They left my pockets as empty as my stomach. They took my pride, my cell phone, and some white woman's dollar. And the police asked me if I was on my way home at the time of the robbery, and I did not know how to tell them that this was a home invasion. That I was so broke, I was broken into, and ain't no broom big enough to pick up the pieces. You know what it is to lose everything when you already had nothing? Dr. King said you better sweep streets like an artist, but what happens when an artist has to sleep in them, when ain't no work to take pride in, when your suicide note is just another poem about a black boy dying, so you just write and write and write and write, because you know if your pen ever leave the page, your body might leave the world, and sometimes sweeping streets feel too much like cleaning caskets. In the first draft of this poem, it sounded like a train car kiss. It sounded like a real good reason not to be here, but if it falls your lot in life to be a poet, you write of kids who live and you make yourself the first one. You write to get back up. You write that you are still here. You write the eulogy of everything that has ever tried to kill you, and you title that shit, you're not Beethoven, you're music. You're not Shakespeare, you are poetry. You're not Michelangelo. You are all the art that comes with finding all the pride that lives within your bones. You're the best at whatever you are, especially when all that is breathing, and especially when all that is black and trying and writing and crying and going to therapy and learning and growing and loving yourself and others over and over and over again until you can look in a mirror and find out you got pretty fucking good at it. So, if you must sweep streets, I got a broom or two you can borrow. Do it until it is clean enough to eat off of. And then, wipe away the starvation. If you can hear the sound of my voice, I have not harmed myself. That is to be celebrated. Please clap for it. I appreciate you. Can I say thank y'all real quick? Because I got one leg right now and I ain't felt this good in a long time. I usually tell people that all of my poems are about the same thing. There are 3-minute assurances to everyone in the audience that you are not alone. And right now, I feel like I'm not alone. And I ain't felt that in a long time either. This is the part where I'm supposed to point at some merchandise. But I don't think I was sent here to sell you something. I think I was sent here to tell you something. So if you received anything at all, I appreciate you for allowing me to be a vessel for that, because I think it is so much bigger than me. No one has made me in order to write poems. They made me in order to share messages, and the poems just happen to be my favorite piece of wrapping paper. So thank you so much for the gifts you have given me and the gifts you have allowed me to give you. If you'd like to follow me, you can do that anywhere but my house, because I'm paranoid. And I live in a gun state. Relax. But you can do that at Chev_too much. That is CHEV_TOOMUCH.